West branch have been running this theme of recognizing and appreciating organizations and individuals who have taken an effort towards seafarers' welfare, especially during these times of pandemic. As you know, the pandemic had brought life to almost to a standstill, but fortunately, the industry that we all belong to, the shipping industry, has been keeping this world and life moving by carrying essential goods all across the globe, even during these times of pandemic, through its ships and, of course, the seafarers who have been operating those ships. So this is an event in recognition of all those seafarers out at sea as well as on leave ashore, in recognition and appreciating their efforts in keeping this world moving, even during these times of pandemic. But as you know, like every other industry, we've had the shipping industry is also affected because of this pandemic. And there were a lot of questions that was asked over the last few months, especially questions like what will happen to the seafarers signing off? What will happen to the seafarers on leave? Can they join back the ship and continue their employment and earn their livelihood? What about the mandatory STCW training that is required for seafarers? What about the examinations, especially the COC examinations and other various documentation? So these are lots and lots of questions which many people have asked during this times of pandemic, which as like any other industry, the shipping industry was also affected by this pandemic. So this event in particular is in appreciation of the efforts taken by the Director General of Shipping, the National Shipping Board, along with the Ministry of Shipping, in helping the seafarers and all the stakeholders in our shipping industry to continue their operation and keep this lifeline of this world moving. Yes, somebody could argue that this is the job of DG Shipping or the National Shipping Board. They are supposed to do it. I would tell them, yes, this is what they are supposed to do. And let me remind those people that this is not what they have been doing only during this times of pandemic, but always for the benefit of seafarers. I myself, being a seafarer, was a beneficiary of this system, to have come up all the rank, all the way from a cadet to the rank of a master. And thanks to all those great personalities that we have today on our show, and to DG Shipping, National Shipping Board, and the Ministry of Shipping, to have facilitated lakhs of seafarers. Today, I believe we have crossed 2 lakh seafarers from our country, and is ever growing. And these are the agencies, the government agencies, which work day and night for us. So this certificate of appreciation, I think we will not just limit it to the effort and the work put in by these agencies, DG Shipping, National Shipping Board, only during pandemic, but please accept it as a certificate of appreciation for all the work that you all have been doing for the benefit of the seafarers and shipping industry over last many years. With that, let me get on to the schedule of today's event. It was a little difficult task for me to find out the apt person who could welcome the distinguished guest of today. And I did do a Google search to find out a person who knows the system, DG Shipping, very well, and who's also know the Nautical Institute very well. And I was not disappointed. My search took me to a great personality, somebody who's well known in the industry. Of course, he's a leading beacon for mariners from the state of Kerala in particular. And I'm happy to have with us Dr. K.S. Simon, who's the ex-director of KM School of Marine Engineering, Cochin University. He has been Deputy Chief Surveyor with the DG Shipping for over 15 years. And he has been a great follower, even though he might not be a member of the Nautical Institute, a great follower of the Nautical Institute for as many as maybe 15 plus years. So I invite Dr. K.S. Simon to welcome our distinguished guests. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Captain Naveen. Respected Shri Amitabh Kumar, IRS, Director General of Shipping, Mumbai. Respected Dr. Malini Shankar, IAS, Vice Chancellor, Indian Maritime University, and former Director General of Shipping. Miss Gillian C. Jackson, Honorary President, Nautical Institute, London. Mr. Walter Vervloesem, Honorable Vice President, Nautical Institute. Respected Shri Michael Pinto, former Secretary, Ministry of Shipping and former DG Shipping, and my beloved boss in Directorate in the 90s. Captain Jayaku, Nautical Advisor to Government of India, and my colleague in DG Shipping. Captain Saggi, former Nautical Advisor to Government of India, and my one-time colleague. Captain Ashok Mahapatra, former Director, IMO, and former Deputy Nautical Advisor to Government of India. Captain Joseph Alapart, Deputy Conservator of Cochin Port Trust. Captain Vinod Naveen, the motive force behind this creative event. Other dignitaries and luminaries in shipping, including Mr. Azare, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this certificate presentation function. To me, this function is an indication that no good work will go unnoticed or without recognition. Shri Amitabh Kumarji, our dynamic DG shipping and shipping regulator, has left no stone unturned to ensure that the crew change from merchant ships and their repatriation have been made as smooth as possible during this period of COVID pandemic. He has had vast experience as Principal Commissioner of Income Tax before joining the Directorate. He has proved himself to be a lasting friend of seafarers and their family members ashore. He has endeared himself to the shipping industry in general with his innovative ideas. He is an alumnus of University of Delhi and now represents India in IMO. On behalf of all participants, Nautical Institute, and my own personal behalf, I welcome you, sir, to this event. Dr. Malini Shankar, present Vice Chancellor of Indian Maritime University, is well known in the shipping world in India as well as abroad. I have had the good fortune of being the host when she visited Cochin University of Science and Technology, Cochin, where I happened to be the director at that time. She is a career bureaucrat for over 3 decades, with her rich academic background of doctoral degree in public policy, institutional economics from IIT Chennai, and master's degree in development management from Manila, and again master's degree in chemistry from USA. Welcome, madam, to this certificate award function. Miss Gillian Carlson Jackson, AFNI, Honorary President of Nautical Institute, London, has her background as a navigating officer with Canadian Coast Guard. She worked both afloat and ashore. She has experience as maritime faculty member, administrator of AMSA, and also as consultant later. My sincere welcome to you, madam. Mr. Walter Vervloesem, Vice President of Nautical Institute, is a navigating officer and expert in ultrasound testing of hatch covers. It was only yesterday I happened to listen to his talk on his favorite subject. I wish him well and welcome him to this event. Respected Shri Michael Pinto, IAS, former Secretary of Shipping Ministry and former DG Shipping, is another widely known figure in shipping industry as a charismatic leader and mentor. He was chairman of Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust and was instrumental in updating national shipping policy. He has touched the lives of all who were lucky to work under him and still continues to do so. I welcome you, sir, wholeheartedly to this function. Captain Jayaku, Nautical Advisor to Government of India, Director General of Shipping, with his illustrious career, both at sea and ashore, is an officer with positive approach to problem solving. With his knowledge, skill and attitude, I can foresee that he will go places. He is also a member secretary of National Shipping Board. Welcome, Captain Jayaku. Captain Saggi, former Nautical Advisor to Government of India, holder of Extra Master's Certificate, has been Director of Narottam Morarji Institute of Shipping for many years. With his vast experience, he continues to serve the maritime world as a guide and philosopher. On behalf of Nautical Institute and my own personal behalf, I welcome you, sir. Capt Ashok Mahapatra was Deputy Nautical Advisor at DG Shipping before taking up his assignment with IMO as Director of Maritime Safety Division. He too holds an Extra Master's Certificate. With his fairly long stint with IMO, he has brought glory to this country. He is also a filmmaker of late. I still cherish the memory of his visit to my residence at Cochin when he came on leave from IMO. Welcome, Captain Ashok Mahapatra. Captain Joseph Alapart, Deputy Conservator of Cochin Port Trust, has contributed immensely to solve the crew change issue at Cochin. Because of his cooperation, about 500 ships have called at Cochin for crew change during these COVID days. Welcome to you. I also welcome Captain Vinod Naveen for the sake of formality. My sincere welcome to all the participants of this event across the globe. Hope you will all have an enjoyable time. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think you did not disappoint me, considering the great personalities that we have on the show. You know, we would require hours and hours to welcome them, but you kind of put the thing, ball rolling with keeping to the time. Thank you very much, sir. Before I get on to the next speaker, let me also welcome, I can see Madam H.K. Joshi, CMD SCI. Welcome, Madam. Dr. Suresh Bharadwaj, I can see Captain Rajesh Tandon, welcome to this event. Captain MP Basin, Captain Mahesh Yadav, welcome to all of you to this event. Next up, I should say that if we are having this event today, and if we have had a few events in the past, we have been having an event every weekend. I should thank for the support that I have received from Ms. Gillian, sitting there in Australia, negotiating the time differences. Thank you, Gillian, for all the support that you have extended to the Nautical Institute Southwest branch, in particular to me, to helping conduct these events. Very much appreciated. I invite our Nautical Institute President, London. She is joining us from Canberra, Australia, Ms. Gillian Carson Jackson. She will introduce us to the Nautical Institute. Over to Ms. Gillian.
Thank you very much, Vinod. It's wonderful to have this opportunity once again to participate in a celebration of effort and hard work that has been going on. The Nautical Institute has over 7,000 members globally and branches all across the globe. We are very glad that we are an organization for maritime professionals, and we have professionals both afloat and ashore spanning the breadth of this amazing industry. The Nautical Institute recognizes these challenging times and that we need more than ever to keep our focus on the safety and the well-being of maritime professionals. This is an opportunity to celebrate good news stories during very difficult times. The work that is being done to support seafarer crew change is critical to support safe shipping. In addition, we have the opportunity to embrace technologies such as this, and we are now live streaming on Facebook, and put a great focus on the role of the branches through these certificates of recognition. The Nautical Institute is the members, and the members volunteer their time to do this activity. We have with us today Walter Vervloesem from Belgium. He's from the Belgium branch and a vice president of the Nautical Institute. It was actually his brainchild to start these certificates of appreciation to recognize the efforts that are being taken to support seafarers during COVID-19. As Vinod had says, though, it is important to recognize the effort that goes on every single day to support seafarers and to support the maritime professionals. It's my honor to be here today and to be participating in this event. So thank you very much, Vinod, for your invitation to participate. And yes, it is Australia, and yes, it is winter, and yes, it is cold. So if you see me shivering, that's a little bit why it's in the evening here. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Gillian. The Nautical Institute, as she was mentioning, is a professional body. It's a body of maritime professionals from different walks of life. We've had members all across the world. The Nautical Institute do conduct events all around the year through its various webinars and other events that is conducted from London as well as through its various branches. To speak more about the activities of the Nautical Institute, I invite Mr. Walter, who's the Vice President of Nautical Institute London, joining us from Belgium. So it's morning for him. But before I let over to Mr. Walter, as Ms. Gillian mentioned, it was his brainchild of coming out with the certificate of appreciation. And I should say that we have had these events appreciating over the last month or so, and people have taken it very well, the kind of start that you have given us. Thank you so much for such a noble and kind thought in appreciating organizations and people who especially taken this effort during this pandemic. So I invite Mr. Walter, the Vice President, Nautical Institute London, joining us from Belgium. But one small request to Walter, I would not attempt to pronounce your name as like Ms. Gillian did. I would leave it to you to pronounce your Belgium name.
Okay. So yes, hello Southwest Indian branch. Hello all guests and prominent persons attending this meeting. So my greetings from Belgium, where we are at the other end of the world. So here it is summertime. It is quite hot here in Belgium, and it is a pleasure for me, of course, to participate in this event. My name is Walter Vervloesem, and I am the chairman of the Belgian branch of the Nautical Institute, and I am also one of the vice presidents of the Institute. So for me, it is an honor and a privilege, actually, to be able to talk to your members, to your guests. And I would actually also like to congratulate the Southwest India branch for setting up such a really good or well-managed certificate of appreciation campaign. Over the past weeks, we have seen that this is always well attended. I think it is a fantastic idea to take it up to this level. So as Gillian already said, I have been initiating the idea of the certificates of appreciation, and that was actually in the early period of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that was something around mid-April. And I was actually starting this up while I was inspecting a vessel in the port of Antwerp in my capacity as a surveyor. And during the last online council meeting that we had with the Institute, the CEO of the Institute, Captain John Lloyd, requested our members and the branches to raise awareness about the situation of seafarers. It was actually very clear from the early days of COVID-19 that our seafarers were not receiving the recognition and appreciation they deserved. And I found it a good idea actually to show seafarers on board that their peers and members of the Institute were aware of these difficult times, that we clearly understood the challenges actually brought along by this COVID-19 pandemic, and that we were supporting them in this very difficult period. So, being aware of the fact that the Institute issues from time to time certificates of appreciation, I actually decided to issue a certificate of appreciation to the master of the ship I was attending. And the captain, he was actually very pleased to get this type of recognition. And he was pleased with that initiative. And so I suggested to him to post this certificate somewhere in the mess room so that all the crew would be able to see this. And being encouraged by the positive reaction of the captain, I then decided to contact the Institute to advise them, I mean the headquarters in London, and I decided actually to explain them of the initiative. And then after they reworked a little bit the certificate that I have given to the captain, and as from June onwards, they actually started to promote the initiative. And we have seen that several members and branches started actually to issue those certificates. So as this COVID-19 pandemic will still be around for several months, in my opinion, there are still great opportunities ahead to issue those certificates to the ship staff, to the crew, and by doing so, we are providing them the so much needed moral support in these difficult days, and at the same time, raise awareness about the work of the Institute. Talking with the captain during handing over such a certificate always creates good vibes and allows us to exchange views and to discuss the good work that the Institute is doing. So it's always a great opportunity. So I think that all members who are boarding vessels, such as surveyors and pilots, superintendents, class surveyors, mooring masters, and so on, they can do this. And as such, all seafarers will feel supported by their peers and by marine professionals, which is actually what the Institute is promoting and standing for. So also shipping companies, and especially the companies that are already affiliate members of the Institute, they might consider of sending those certificates out to the ships in order to show their appreciation to the staff and crew. Today, it is very good to see that the branches, and in this specific case, the Southwest Indian branch, is also issuing certificates of appreciation to the companies who are placing efforts in repatriation of the crew members. And I do hope that this will encourage them to continue the good work and in reuniting seafarers with their families and allowing their relievers to sign up on board for a new tour of duty so that they, on their turn, can make a living and support their families. The current repatriation problem is affecting all the seafarers, and to all the branches and their members, I would actually suggest to think global and to act global. Every certificate counts, so get them out. And as a closer, I would actually say that once again, many thanks to the Southwest Indian branch to give me this opportunity to speak to you and to congratulate you on your work in setting up this certificate of appreciation campaign. And I wish you good luck with the future events and ceremonies. Thank you very much, and over to you, Vinod.
Thank you, Walter. And once again, thank you for such a good thought of yours. And I should say that we have given this responsibility of distributing the certificate of appreciation to all masters, the masters of ships calling Cochin Port, to our Vice President of the Southwest Branch and the Deputy Conservator of Cochin Port Trust, Captain Joseph Alapart, who is with us. And he is doing that for you. And I should say that it's not just a localized event in Belgium. Your certificate of appreciation has indeed gone global. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
As I mentioned in the beginning, there were a lot of questions asked by many stakeholders, especially in the Indian maritime industry, especially pertaining to seafarers and how they would continue with their activities of joining ship and signing off from the ship and so on. And I'm sure all of you would agree that it is not an easy task at all to find a solution to such questions. But the DG Shipping has been working towards it, and they have come out with solutions to almost all those questions that were posted on them. And to talk us about those solutions and the answers that the DG Shipping has found to all those questions, I invite Captain Jayaku, the nautical advisor, DG Shipping, Government of India, to appraise us on the measures and actions taken. Over to you, Captain Jayaku.
Thank you, Captain Vinod. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the distinguished personalities and friends across the globe. At the outset, I would like to thank the Nautical Institute for recognizing the actions taken during the pandemic by the Maritime Administration of India and for the felicitation being done today of our Director General Shri Amitabh Kumar and our former Director General and current Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University, Dr. Malini Shankar. I would also like to thank the Nautical Institute for giving me an opportunity to say a few words during this occasion. This pandemic has required us to look closely at all aspects of shipping and find novel solutions to complex issues without compromising on safety. Our actions have not been limited to dealing with these issues pertaining to shipping only, but we have also had to address other matters connected with shipping. While matters pertaining to seafarers get readily noticed due to the large numbers involved and the large number of people impacted, those with respect to ships do not generally come to public attention, as it remains confined to the affected entities and the officials of the Directorate and MMD who were involved in addressing the issue. While most of the issues that arose during the lockdown were addressed, some of the issues that require special mention are the actions taken during the total lockdown, when it was not possible for surveyors to board vessels to carry out surveys or for ships to comply with some of the requirements that could impact safety. To address these complex issues, and in some instances, we had to go back to the drawing boards to assess the levels that could be permitted without seriously compromising on the safety. And thankfully, we did not have to consider matters beyond the proof loads of the various safety equipments. One matter that was really challenging was with respect to safety margins of chemicals used in pyrotechnics, as this information is readily not available. Luckily for us, the unlockdown commenced and the issue did not require our intervention. We did dabble in remote surveys on online platforms and got reasonable results. We, however, did not need to pursue this matter further after the unlockdown commenced. However, as a technology demonstrator, it was very useful experience for all of us. Maritime training and certification is a matter of immense interest. The pressure to commence online examination was therefore intense. We are, however, conscious of the fact that seafarers would need to continue to function in the physical world, as operating ships remotely is not yet the norm. While the discussions on herd immunity and vaccines are ongoing, seafarers would still need to face the challenges not only on board the ship, but on the way to the ship and return. they also would need to face special challenges as herd immunity would
I think we will just give him a few seconds to come back.
I think he's muted actually.
He's
Yeah,
muted. Yeah, ask him to unmute.
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Where did I leave? I'll start from the certification because I think that's something that is of immense interest to all of us.
Sir, put on your video.
The challenge we faced was that while online examination was what was the desire for everyone, we need to consider the fact that the seafarers would continue to work in the physical world and not from home. They would need to go to the ships. They would need to interact in different jurisdictions. And the herd immunity that people talk about or the vaccines that they talk about would be a special challenge because they would need to develop herd immunity across all possible strains. So for us, what we felt was that it would be essential for seafarers to learn to live with the virus and function safely under the present circumstances. So it became first necessary for us to coax them back to the outer world and come to the MMDs for their oral examinations. Again, it was not just the seafarer. All of us had to learn to function in the current atmosphere. So while oral examination part has been the easier part because the numbers are small, the challenge for the written exam is much larger. We are considering currently what are the systems and protocols that we need to have to be able to safely conduct written examinations also in the physical at the MMDs. Online maritime training is also another challenge that we have been facing. In my view, the transition to online teaching, for it to really happen, we need to address not only the the physical challenges of the connectivity and the hardware, but of the other issue with regard to how training is imparted. What we currently have is of the PowerPoint presentation and the lecture format would itself need to be transformed because it would be very difficult for us to hold the attention span of the trainees. What we would necessarily need to do is transition into more of animation and background sounds along with the imparting of education. For this, there are challenges. In my interaction with many of the faculty, what did come about was the challenge of the intellectual property rights. I'm sure our industry would be able to find solutions to the intellectual property rights issues so that content developers would then come forward and be able to provide content that could be used across all jurisdictions in the maritime sector. Every challenge is an opportunity. Today we are functioning in very challenging times. Hence the opportunities are also immense and therefore it is exciting. We look forward to partnering with all our stakeholders to safely transition the maritime sector from the current industrial age onto the information age. I'd like to thank you all once again for the patient hearing and to the Nautical Institute for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Captain Jayakumar. Thanks for giving the first-hand information of the measures taken by DG Shipping, and I'm sure all those who are hearing us today, and especially the seafarers and the ones who are connected from the ship, would benefit from what they just heard from you. Thank you once again. I can see Mr. Duncan, Treasurer of Nautical Institute and Trustee of the Nautical Institute Foundation, joining us. Welcome, Duncan. I can also see Captain Nick Nash, who was our immediate past president of the Nautical Institute. Welcome, Captain Nick Nash. I can see Captain Halbe, CEO of MASA, Captain Daniel Joseph, DG Shipping. Welcome to all of you to this event. I also saw a message posted by Captain Rajesh Tandon, which would probably give in line with what Captain Jayakumar just spoke, that he says that over 1 lakh crew change has taken place in this times of last few months of pandemic, and really congratulate the DG Shipping and all those who have been working towards and helping the industry with this crew sign on, sign off. Thank you so much. Moving on, my next speaker, I should say that, and I should echo the feeling or the perception of the industry. It's not my perception or my feeling, it's the feeling of the industry, that when you talk about DG Shipping, people think of tough people and tough faces. This is what DG Shipping is to the outside world. But there's one gentleman who came along and gave a changeover to that particular perception with a smiling face. And I'm on my next event, I have the gentleman with us. I invite Captain Saggi, the former nautical advisor, DG Shipping, Government of India, to give his felicitations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinod. Hello, everybody. I think all the people who are working in the directorate, past and present, the so-called smile, I've learned from them, and I've always seen them with a smile on their face whenever there is a challenge, there is a problem, whenever the industry approaches them, whenever any seafarer needs. That is what I have learned from my seniors, and that is what I have passed on to the people down the line, and that is what I have seen, both the leadership, the present and the past, following it. One more thing I would like to mention over here is like what Maxwell said. The pessimist, he complains about the wind. An optimist would say that I wish the wind changes. And a leader resets the sail. And that is what these two personalities today we have gathered to honor Dr. Malini Shankar and Mr. Amitabh Kumar ji. They have shown how to take on the challenges. There were issues regarding protecting the brand equity of the Indian seafarers. There were issues regarding the welfare of the seafarers. There were issues regarding what we are facing right now, which has been so nicely elaborated by many speakers before me, the pandemic challenges. And I can say with a lot of pride that our leadership in the Director General of Shipping has always remained ahead of the curve. And this is possible because they have, as the saying goes, that the people in power should not stand on the chair, they should sit on the chair. And they have shown that by the example. They have also shown that if you want to walk fast, you walk alone. And if you want to walk far, you want to walk long, then you have to walk together. This is exactly what Mr. Ratan Tata told us, and this is exactly what they have followed. I always used to wonder that how everybody has joined in the initiative taken by these leaders. What is that which motivates us? And then I realized that if we don't survive the pandemic, if we don't survive the livelihood for the seafarers, the challenges what we face, then we are all going to go down. We are all on the same boat. So we have to swim together. We have to save this boat together. And that is what binds us, that is what motivates us. I also take this opportunity to thank the Nautical Institute, especially Gillian, Walter, and the whole team for taking this wonderful initiative of recognizing the people who have made the difference, who made a mark for themselves, and who helped us to survive and thrive even in these challenging circumstances. I would also like to thank everybody, all the associations, all the professionals, the unions, everybody who has come together to give a helping hand. Thank you very much, Vinod, for giving this opportunity. And we're very proud of you, Dr. Malini Shankar and Mr. Amitabh Kumar ji, for showing a wonderful leadership. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Saggi. Thanks for your kind words and the motivation, the message that you just passed on to all of us. Thank you so much. I used to ask the seafarers who I interface when I train them at the university, and I used to ask them a very simple question, that how many of you would go back to sea if you did not have SOLAS Chapter 3? I ask you, all of you, the same question. How many of you would go to sea if you did not have SOLAS Chapter 3? I have never heard a yes from anyone. Because if there is no SOLAS Chapter 3, you wouldn't have the lifeboats, you wouldn't have the life rafts, you wouldn't have life jackets, you wouldn't even have a life buoy to cling on to in case something happens to your ship. The IMO has today probably 55 odd conventions dealing with various matters, in particular about safety, security, and environment, and probably thousands and thousands of regulations. We are fortunate today that we have with us Captain Ashok Mahapatra, the former Director of Maritime Safety Division at IMO, who was probably involved in all this hard work and policy decisions and bringing out these rules and regulations, which makes every seafarer out at sea feel that much more safe and secure. I invite Captain Ashok Mahapatra, the former Director, Maritime Safety Division, IMO, to offer his felicitations. Over to you, sir. Captain Ashok, can you hear us? Yes, I can see you, sir, but you're not audible. Not yet, sir. You're still not audible. Jillian, can you hear Captain Mahapatra?
No, I'm afraid I cannot hear. No.
Okay.
No, I think no one can hear him.
Okay, I think his audio was okay when we tested, but now we can't hear him. Captain Mahapatra, can you hear us? Can you give a thumbs up if you can hear us? No, I think there is some issue. Okay, what I will do is I'll call upon our next speaker, and then I will speak to him on the phone, and then get this sorted out. Okay, on my schedule, I would say every organization needs people, and every organization has two sets of people. One who comes on and builds a foundation for the next generations to follow, and the second set of people who come on and take the organization forward. But there are some extraordinary people who do both. They come, they build the foundation more stronger, they make the foundation more stronger, as well as they take the organizations forward. And we are fortunate today that we have one such gentleman who has worked towards building a foundation which the coming generations are taking forward, as well as a person who has taken the organization well ahead in times. A well-known personality, well-respected among our shipping industry. It is my honor to invite Shri Michael Pinto, former Secretary Shipping to Government of India and former DG Shipping. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Captain. I'm really delighted with that introduction. In fact, it was so good. I must tell you, I can hardly wait to hear what I'm going to say. I'm not sure whether you can all hear me. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are, sir. Go on, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be at a function like this to honor my friend and colleague Malini Shankar and another colleague, Mr. Amitabh Kumar. They're both such distinguished personalities. Amitabh has had experience in this field even earlier when he worked as the joint DG, and now he's come as the DG and he's brought to bear all that experience and has made such a great job of it. Malini has also held DG Shipping. She was then the chairman of the NSCB, and now she's the vice chancellor of the Maritime University. I find it difficult to keep pace with all the many jobs that she holds, has held, and probably will hold in the future too, because she brings so much panache to all of them. I think the next step must be Minister Shipping, and after that, who knows, the top job. But I must tell you, Malini, we've had a woman prime minister earlier, and a very successful one for a number of years, but we have never had a woman minister shipping. So that is one way, a very good way of making history. I've listened very attentively to all that was said, and frankly, it covered so much of what I plan to say about the immense contribution of these two people. I wonder what is left for me to say. But I must tell you to beware of the person who says that he has nothing to say and that everything he wanted to say has been said already. He will spend the next 15 minutes doing precisely what he said there was no need to do, namely say all these things that have already been said. So I should probably follow that good advice. I should probably follow that excellent tradition that has been laid down. Mr. Amitabh Kumar has really brought so much panache, so much of a feeling to this job. And I must say that this is not said just like that. Many people who are stakeholders, who have had to deal with the directorate and have to deal with different people, have spoken so much about him. I wanted to talk about the crew change, but that has already been covered so well by Captain Jayaku. And I wanted to talk about a number of other things which have been covered. But one thing that I must say is that it is an amazing thing to listen to people who are users, who are stakeholders, who have something to do with this, for them to say that, yes, this is really something we've not seen before. It's amazing. It is a very good thing, and I must congratulate you for it. The same thing applies to Malini. I think both of them have, the main thing that one can say about them is that they have been available, that they have been available to all stakeholders so that nobody needs to have any fear or any problem or any inhibition about coming to them. That is something that is very good. And it's something that really we should be able to applaud. I was also thinking that it's all right to be very approachable yourself, to be very affable, to make sure that anyone can approach you. But I think these two have done something more. I think especially after COVID, the DG's office has become much more responsive to the needs of its stakeholders. And they have gone the extra mile. They've been available, they've been ready, they've been open, and they have followed up on everything that has come. This has been the feedback that I've got from many, many people, and it makes me extremely happy. I must say that we rejoice in this sort of thing. For me, it's not, I was thinking that earlier people used to say, Michael Pinto, Danny Joseph, good officers, nice people, and so on and so forth, and we used to bask in that. And then we thought that the good thing will be that nobody will be able to tackle that, to be able to come to that level. But now I find that there are last few directors general have more than outstripped us. They have really laid down excellent traditions, whether it is not only the two that we are honoring today, Amitabh Kumar and Malini Shankar, but also Deepak Shetty, Gautam Chatterjee. These are people who have really taken the DG forward. And I think this is something that we should all be happy about. As I said, the thing that we used to say is make sure your successors are not as good as you are. But here they have outstripped us. They've done so much better, and we are extremely happy about that. Malini and Amitabh, I must say we are proud of you. You have taken the role of the regulator, the administrator, to new heights, and you will be a very, very hard act to come up with, to compete with in the future. One last point. Many years ago, we had a very, very competent officer called MP Butch. He was an IAS officer of the Madhya Pradesh cadre. And after he had retired, he was going back to Bhopal once, and he had landed in Bhopal at the station, and it happened to be a strike. There was no transport, there was public transport on that. There was no taxi, no auto rickshaw, nothing. He was wondering how he would reach his destination, when suddenly an auto rickshaw came up to him and said, "Get in, sir, get in." So he said, "But what is no? Just get in." So then he got in, and then he told him, I want to go to so-and-so address. That man said, "I know where you want to go, don't worry." And he took him to his house. So then when he got off at the house, Butch asked him, "But how did you know that this is where I wanted to come?" He said, "You don't know me, but some years ago, I had a lot of problem getting my ration card, and I didn't know what to do. So somebody told me, go to the office of the controller of rationing. Maybe you'll find some there to help." So I went there. He said it happened to be a partial holiday. There were not many people around, and there was nothing. I couldn't find anything. I didn't know what to do. I was about to come back, and then suddenly you came out of your office and you saw me and you said, "What is it? What do you want? Have you come for something?" And I said, "Sir, I have a problem with my ration card." He said, "Come here, let me see." So he took me inside and he went through the list and he found my application. And he said, "Yes, that's right. You are here. Don't worry. Within 1 week, you will get your card. Is your address mentioned here?" It was mentioned. And he said, "Yes, you will get your card. Don't worry. You just go home." And this man told him, I went home thinking, well, maybe it'll come, maybe it won't come. We can't tell. But then he said, within 4 days, the ration card was there. I have never forgotten that. And he said, "Today I brought you home and you will not pay me 1 paisa for this. It's just my way of saying thank you." And the thing that Butch did was, he said, the expectations of people in our country are not very high. It's not that they want government officers to, bend over backwards, do this, that, and the other. They just want you to do what you're supposed to do. And for that, they are so grateful. Both of you and others in the directorate, in this job, have taken it to new heights. We are proud of you, and we wish you take it forward even more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was so nice listening to you. I was watching the faces of people on our event. Your speech really got a smile on their face, and you made this, everybody energetic. But you put me in a small little bit of a problem. I was thinking of wishing you a happy Senior Citizens Day. I believe 21st August is a World Senior Citizens Day, but I could see the enthusiasm in your voice as good as probably many, many years back. Thank you once again, sir, for acknowledging and coming on board and participating in our event. Thank you, sir. Captain Ashok Mahapatra, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. That's good. That's good. So I am not taking any bit of a time. I invite Captain Ashok Mahapatra, former Director, Maritime Safety Division, IMO, to give his felicitations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vinod, and greetings to Nautical Institute. Gillian, I don't know if you remember, long time ago we had met, when I had not reached the rank of a director, but we had interacted when you were in London that time. Now, coming back, it is an honor to speak at this occasion and also to felicitate two doyens of shipping who are presently there and will continue to be there for some time to come. And I think Mr. Pinto has already talked about it, and there is very little that I can add. But one thing I think which was missing, the link is coming back. The link between the directorate and the Maritime University, which should provide a synergy and accept and promote shipping. After all, the prime idea is to promote shipping. Shipping as such is the gearbox of the world economy. You don't have shipping, forget the economy, no matter anybody talks about growth or anything. That doesn't work. If goods don't move, there is no growth, there's no trade, there's no exchange of money between regions. And it is also a fact that no country in the world produces everything. And this has come from time immemorial. And all civilizations, if you look at the history, does take shipping as its prime mover of the economy. Unfortunately, somehow or the other, shipping has not been given its due recognition as such. But that is for another day. Now, coming back, I am sure that both in this pandemic time, both NSB and DG Shipping have worked together primarily not only to see that the seafarers are moved around, they get turned around so that nobody is fatigued. After all, I did a lot of work on fatigue, but also that the ships keep moving. Ships keep moving. And then there was the criteria which comes in. What happens when a certificate expires, all those things. And that has been done in a very proactive manner. Congratulations to both of y'all. And my sincere request to both of y'all that forget the past and let the DG Shipping and IMU work together to produce first competent seafarers, second to promote the industry, and third, sky is the limit. And there is an old article, if you want, I can share it. I said, more ships, more trade. Thank you very much. My pleasure being with you. Congratulations, Malini and Amitabh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Once again, you have highlighted the significance of the ships and the shipping industry and the seafarers, which is basically the lifeline of this entire world. And I'm sure it must have been a difficult task being at the safety division to find the right balance between safety and the commercial aspects. But I believe the regulations that we have today have kind of striken the balance between the two. Thank you, sir, for participating in this event with us. The next item I have is an important one, the one that we are all here for. So, Jillian, I would like to share my screen.
Yes, you can share your screen, the green share button. You see that?
Okay, can you see the certificate, Jillian?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so this is our certificate of appreciation from the Nautical Institute to Shri Amitabh Kumar and his team at the DGS for all the work that has been done. I request Shri Michael Pinto, sir, to once again come in and speak a few words of appreciation to Mr. Amitabh Kumar.
Amitabh, I've already spoken at length about you. I think I've tried to say all that I have to. But let me say that we would all like to express our appreciation. The thing is coming from the Nautical Institute. But I think everyone gathered around here, even if they're not part of the Nautical Institute, wants to join us in saying congratulations, and may your tribe increase, because you have taken not only your own work forward, but your entire office, your entire staff, your entire team have worked with you. And that, I think, is the greatest compliment to a leader, that you can carry your people with you and get them to deliver just as you will. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. I would also take this moment. Ms. Jillian, would you speak a few words of appreciation for Dr. Malini Shankar?
That is such a pleasure to do so, to speak a few words to another wonderful, strong woman in Maritime. And it is a real pleasure as well to recognize the team at DG Shipping and the work that has gone over the years to obviously bring together this family, this group of people who have such a strong commitment and a strong power for the energy that they have to be able to have this ongoing commitment and the sacrifice that they give to serve the citizens of the world, not just the seafarers, but beyond the seafarers, because without the seafarers, we don't have the cargo transports, and without the support of the team at DG Shipping, we would not have this opportunity to support each other through this difficult time that we have, that is COVID-19, and to recognize that the work that you have done is appreciated, and we do thank you. It's not going unseen, and that is very important that we recognize what you have done so that you have the energy to continue on for many more months. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jillian. I'm just going to use another probably 30 seconds. I don't want to hold the certificate with me. So I'm just going to send the certificate, use the technology that we have today. I am just sending it to Mr. Amitabh Kumar and his office. Yes, and I would also not hold the certificate with me. I am just sending it to Dr. Malini Shankar.
You need to display her certificate.
Yeah, I have sent it. It was on display. I've sent both the certificates. You want me to display them both? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's good to display the other one too.
Yes, I can display one at a time. Can you see both? Did you see both, Jillian?
I only see the one for Mr. Kumar.
Okay, how is it now?
No, it's still
You'll have to stop sharing.
Okay, I will come back. I'll stop and share it. I thought I had displayed the other one. Okay, I will come back.
I can share it if you want.
No, I have it here. I have it here. Can you see it?
Yes, lovely.
Okay. Yeah. So I have made use of the technology and sent the certificates over to both of them. I'm sure both of them must have received it in their inbox. Moving on, as all the previous speakers had mentioned, it's not an easy task to regulate, and especially regulate shipping in India with so many stakeholders. You know, we've probably had about close to 500 RPSL agencies working in India, probably 250 odd maritime training institutes, and today we have 2 lakh plus seafarers. So to manage and regulate all this is not an easy task at all. It definitely requires a lot of patience. I think I have with us a person who is very patient, who is a very keen listener. He would let you talk to the end before he steps in. And I would also say a person who, especially from my interface with the DG Shipping and the various meetings and the seminars and conferences that they've had, a person with a calm mind, person who could manage through all those situations. On a lighter note, I would say if it is Captain Cool MS Dhoni for Indian cricket, it is Mr. Amitabh Kumar for DG Shipping. I invite our next speaker, Shri Amitabh Kumar, the Director General of Shipping, Government of India, to speak us through the challenges that you have faced, sir, you and your team, over the last few months of the pandemic. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, the Nautical Institute, for bestowing this honor on the Directorate. I accept it humbly on behalf of all the employees of the Directorate who have contributed in this troubled time. I'm the face, so I'm sure the certificate only reflects the face, but the work has been done by the entire team. And I was very happy to see the name of the team written on the certificate. If you permit, I would just run you through a PowerPoint presentation to just show what kind of work was involved in this COVID-19 challenge.
Yes, sir. Jillian, can you make sir the co-host?
Yes, I will. I was just starting to say, oh, I've got to make him a co-host now. Just 1 second.
Yes.
Okay,
Sir,
now you can
yes.
share.
Sir, I think you can share your screen now.
It was a very unique challenge in the sense that the world was not prepared for it. And somehow we just didn't know how to react. And we had to learn every day about the challenges, fresh challenges coming our way, and how to tackle it. We had started to plan and operationalize a team when we first heard of this COVID-19 virus. India was still not affected, but we knew that our seafarers were sailing across the world and we would need to do something for them. On 11th of February, we formed a COVID cell in our directorate to deal with all issues relating to COVID. Between 12th and 23rd of March, several advisories. Initially, we started issuing advisories. Then we realized that maybe advisories would not be enough. And we shifted towards issuing DGS orders. And we will discuss those orders in detail. On 24th of March, the nation closed down. Virtually, India closed down. Fortunately, before that, because of our COVID-19 cell, we had managed to issue advisories or orders in respect of all the stakeholders that we have, whether it is RPS or training institutes or Indian ships or ships coming to Indian ports, the ports themselves. We had managed to make sure that all the students in our maritime training institutes had gone back to their respective homes. So when the nation closed on 24th of March, our institutes were already vacant and there was not much challenge in terms of sending the students back to their homes. On 22nd of April, we commenced crew change on our ports despite the lockdown. In May, we started crew change using flights, Vande Bharat flights. There were very limited flights available. And then in June, we started sending or bringing back our seafarers using charter flights. Now, the key challenge, of course, was the complete closure of shipping.
it was a very unique situation where the nation was at a close down, but we were supposed to function, whether it was the ports or the shipping, we were supposed to function. In our interaction with the ports, we realized that there is a huge threat perception amongst the port employees from the ships coming from outside. Remember, COVID-19 was being imported from abroad at that time. And there was this threat that every ship that is coming from abroad is a potential COVID-19 carrier. The port staff did not want to entertain the ship. At the same time, the ships and the seafarers were equally scared of interacting with the ports because of the fear of contracting COVID-19 on board. We needed to have a solution so that some confidence building starts between the two major components of shipping industry, the ships and the ports. We had very detailed discussion with each and every player on the port. And for the first time, I think it was the industry demand that DG Shipping in India deals with shipping and not necessarily with the ports. But there was a demand that DG Shipping comes up with a standard operating procedure, which could be used in all the 200 ports in India, so that there is a uniform process being followed and it is easier for the ships to make a port call in India. We came up with two major SOPs, one SOP for ship and ship operation, and second was operation of ships and its interaction with the ports and the responsibilities of various authorities in the port, whether it is the port health officer, the customs, the immigration, the labor contractors, the reception facilities, and so on and so forth. So DGS order number 4 has been the most important order in terms of interaction between the ship and the port. Then, of course, because of the lockdown, almost everything was closed. And getting a small thing done also needed coordination with a host of government agencies, state government agencies, central government agencies, and we needed to have a system in place so that the coordination becomes smooth. We already discussed the expiry of ships' trading certificates, delays in surveys, inspections, servicing of emergency equipment. I think this was the first time, and someone from the industry had said that you have put us in a very grave situation where the ship is functioning, but the entire support system of the ship from the shore is closed. And in these difficult times, we had to come up with a solution so that the ships keep functioning. The basic coordination that we needed was internal. In terms of internal, we had the DGS stakeholders, our RPS agencies, our MTIs, our seafarers, our doctors. Even the doctors were scared to open their clinic and give health certificate. And because of the lockdown, most of the clinics were closed. The agents' office were closed. Ports and terminals were working, but with very limited capacity. And then we had a host of ministries sitting in Delhi who were to be consulted or who needed to give us approvals or who needed to process our proposals for various works, especially the crew change and the port operations. So this was the coordination activity that was needed. I think the screen share has stopped.
Can you try it again, sir?
Yeah, I'll do that.
It's come on my screen.
It's come now, sir.
Okay. not moving on my screen somehow.
What you could do is move to the next screen, take off the share, move to the next screen, and then put it back on share.
It started with maritime training institutes. Institutes were most vulnerable at that time, and the students mostly they live in dormitories in their hostels, and we had to take a call as to what to do with the students. On 13th of March, we first stopped the biometric attendance. Then we realized that too many people have to travel from one place to another to attend their modular courses. And because of their travel history, maybe the full-time students of the institutes are also getting, are in the threat of getting infected. So we closed the modular training. And then on 20th of March, we decided that we would shut down the pre-C training institutes also and ask the students to go home. And I think this was one of the best decisions that we took in COVID-19. Otherwise, after the national shutdown, it would have been very difficult for us to manage training. But at the same time, because of our efforts earlier to introduce e-learning on modular courses, we had some courses ready. We opened the e-learning platform for all Indian seafarers. And on 11th of May, finally, we decided to allow the institutes to carry on their courses using online virtual means. We have added some more items since then. We have gone for virtual online exit examination for all the modular courses. And now we are issuing certificates for modular courses to those who complete all the three steps, that is e-learning, online virtual class, and online exit examination. The seafarers were the worst to suffer, as all of you have mentioned. We had canceled their shore leave from 16th of March 2020, and we had canceled sign-off from 20th of March 2020. From April onwards, we realized that they can't keep on sailing with expired certificates. So we started reviewing the certificate extension process. And on 13th of April, we extended the existing certificates for seafarers who were on board. Then we issued the SOP, the most important SOP for the seafarers on 22nd of April, when we allowed crew change on Indian ports, both sign on and sign off. The SOP was very tough. That is what the industry mentioned, because we had forced everyone to undergo COVID-19 test, both before boarding and after coming out. But that helped not only the movement of seafarers, it also assuaged the feeling, the sentiments of the local community, and in some cases the family, that the person who is being received back is actually COVID-free. And there was the resistance that we had witnessed between March and April in sign-on, sign-off of seafarers vanished because of this SOP. The ports were also fairly certain that no virus would come to their port by allowing sign-on, sign-off of seafarers. We started issuing e-pass for all the seafarers to allow them to travel across the country Remember, in India, even the local travel within the city was banned, and to travel from one corner of the country to another corner of the country was not very easy. And I'm told in the government this was the most used and the most well-managed e-pass issue facility rolled out by the government. From 19th of May, this was another major decision which we took in consultation with a number of ministries. Ministry of External Affairs was involved, Ministry of Civil Aviation was involved, Director General of Civil Aviation was involved, and we started facilitating chartered flights. In one of the landmark decisions for us, the ministries allowed DG Shipping to approve chartering of outbound flights and recommend charter of inbound flights. And it was because of these. In the meanwhile, we had also approved sign off and sign on of Indian crew from anchorages. So the ships did not have to actually come to our port for sign on, sign off. And a lot of ships diverted their route, came to our anchorage just for the purpose of sign on, sign off. As somebody just disclosed, today we have reached the figure of 100,000 crew change since 22nd of April 2020, which of course gives us the maximum satisfaction in our COVID management. The ships also had huge challenges. Of course, we had first come up with a disease outbreak management plan on 3rd of March itself, and then the DGS order number 4, which also had certain elements for the ships. We extended all their statutory certificates, sanitation certificates, periodic certificates, and made sure that all Indian ships continued to sail in the pandemic. The ports I have already discussed. Almost all actors in the ports were brought in the SOP, so that there was a common SOP. For a week or so, we had a situation where 20 different ports have had 20 different SOPs, and the ships just didn't know what to follow and what not to follow. A common SOP was the need of the hour, and we had to come up with that. There was a situation where the ports were working, the ships were working, but the railways was closed and the road transportation was closed. And there was a problem of evacuation of goods from Indian ports. We came up with some relief to the EXIM trade also, when we asked our ships and shipping lines to forego their ground rent and demurrage and penal charges for this period of COVID. For shipping services, we slowly, as I discussed, the land-based support was closed, and slowly we made sure that even when the country was closed, all the ship support services were somehow opened. And by May, I think, our offices and all the offices of the shipping companies started working properly. None of this would have been possible if we had not resorted to online systems. A lot of work for digitization of our record and e-services had already been done. But for COVID-19, first thing we had to do, because even today, as you all know, we are working only at 10% of our capacity. The country is still in partial lockdown. So e-office was immediately introduced on internet network so that people could work from home. The day SOP was issued, the first e-pass was issued on the same day. and we had prepared our online module for issue of e-pass even before the SOP was finally approved by the government. The present SOP issued by the government requires us to verify each and every passenger on our charter flights. Because these charter flights are only for seafarers, we developed a small utility so that the entire passenger manifest is verified within a very short span of time. And it is because of these small utilities that we are able to approve 8 to 10 flights every day. In terms of maritime training, I already discussed, we have now shifted to e-learning, virtual classes, and online exit exam. These utilities had to be developed in COVID times only. And then we came up with a small utility to find out how many Indian seafarers were stranded across the world. So there is a small utility. We at one point of time we had around 8,000 stranded seafarers as per this utility, which we brought down to less than 100 about 15 days back, and so on and so forth. These are the list of office orders that have been issued. We have covered most of it. I don't want to bore you with the details. And a host of issues, tonnage tax issues. What we want to do next. Our institutes are still closed, though we have started virtual classes, but the examinations are still not happening. As of now, today, I think a pilot project has started to take a virtual online written examination, which will not be an objective type examination. It will be a proper written examination, which a person can give from his home, but this would be invigilated as if a classroom examination is invigilated, and all the utilities and facilities that are available in an examination hall would be made available for this virtual examination. We are also in the process of having a facility for online oral examinations, and once these facilities are in force, then except for the workshop training, that is the requirement for training, all other trainings would be brought on online platform. The ports have been one of our biggest supports when it comes to crew change. The blue line that you see here, it reflects the sign-on figures at different Indian ports. The red line is a sign-off figure for different Indian ports. The maximum number of sign-ons have happened, sign-offs have happened at Mumbai, and the maximum number of sign-ons have happened at Kochi, as somebody mentioned. I think the representative from Cochin Port is here. So all accolades to them for making it possible. We have so far issued 202 permissions for outbound chartered flights, and more than 20,000, almost 21,000 seafarers have boarded their vessels outside the country using these chartered flights. We have given 259 charter permissions for bringing seafarers on chartered flights to India, and more than 30,000 seafarers have used that utility. The total movement of seafarers using chartered flights crosses 51,000. Around 10,000 have used commercial flights. So that is how our figure has now crossed 100,000. The COVID cell, which we had set up in February has been at the forefront for fighting COVID. And because of the technology induction, but mostly because of the uh, late hours that our people in the COVID cell have put in, we now process the charter flights in 4 to 6 hours. We approve the passenger manifests in 4 to 6 hours. That is, of course, through the utility for data verification. The request for online e-pass is processed in 2 to 3 hours. All our stakeholders that I had mentioned in the slides earlier are on WhatsApp. All issues get resolved on WhatsApp. I have never seen government working virtually on WhatsApp. If the COVID cell is unable to resolve the issues from their WhatsApp group, I have a WhatsApp group of all the heads of all the organizations we mentioned, and we try to resolve it on the WhatsApp. And I have seen that within 4 to 6 hours, whatever issues, however difficult it may be, do get resolved. And I would like to mention the kind of role that the Indian shipping industry, the manning agents, the ship management companies, the ship owners have played, and the kind of interactions we have had on resolution of each of these issues have been exemplary, and without their support, none of this would have been possible. We maintain, through the help of all the manning agents, the present situation all over the world, whether the ship crew change can happen at these places, and plan our affairs accordingly. Uh, in terms of training, we have already discussed a lot in last couple of minutes. I would just run you through the slides. I am sure you are tired of listening to all this. Again, a lot of support from a lot of people and a lot of happy faces because of that. And we have, as I mentioned, used all means possible. The directorate has been very fortunate in receiving a lot of accolades, and it has helped the COVID cell, maintained that kind of work pressure. They are pleased of this kind of response from the industry. So thank you for giving this honor to the Office of DG Shipping, and I am sure the officers would be very pleased to hear that the Nautical Institute has recognized their efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think it is a massive operation that was being done over the last few months, especially coordinating among the various government agencies, as well as trying to bring all the stakeholders of the Indian shipping industry together. It's not an easy challenge at all. But I believe having achieved all this in about probably less than 100 days is really commendable. I've already got a comment from my president from Australia that this topic or this presentation that you're given probably requires a 1 full day webinar. So we will come back to you, sir. Maybe one of your officers can, we will, it's really great. It's a massive operation. It's very difficult to put it and compress it into 15-20 minutes on that. Thank you to you and the entire team on behalf of the seafarers, on behalf of the shipping industry, the Nautical Institute. Congratulate yourself and your team at the DGS. Next up, I have a very strong personality with us. Somebody who has contributed immensely to the Indian shipping industry, in particular to the seafarers, both being at the DGS as well as at the National Shipping Board, or in whatever capacity Madam was. I think one of the greatest initiatives of Madam was digitalization of many processes at the DGS. And you can already see that it is kind of a lifeline during this pandemic. And all this, what we just heard from Shri Amitabh Kumar with regard to e-learning and exit examinations, etc. It was an immense contribution that Madam had made while her stint at the DGS also. Madam, I cannot use the same words I used for Captain Saggi with regard to the smile, or to Mr. Amitabh Kumar with being a calm person that he is, because the industry sees you as a tough person. So I'm sorry, I cannot use such words. You are really a tough person. I should say that. And I'm just echoing the feelings of the industry. But I should say that you are also a very, very helpful person. And people know that. I don't think many know that, but people whom you have helped really know. I can just pull out an incident which happened of late when the family of late Captain Subramaniam was facing so many hurdles with regard to his last rites. It was you who came out and cleared all the hurdles for the family of Captain Subramaniam and helping them with the cause of the last rites. You along with Captain Ajay Achudan, I think he is also here at the event. So that is the kind of a person that you are. And I think now that you have taken up, the moment the news broke out that you have taken up the post of Vice Chancellor of Indian Maritime University, the stakeholders have raised their bar, and the industry has a lot of expectations from the Indian Maritime University, and I'm sure you will deliver it for the industry, knowing the kind of personality that you are. Yes, many of them would say ladies first, but I would tell back to them that we saved the best for the last. So over to you, Dr. Malini Shankar, Vice Chancellor, Indian Maritime University.
Thank you, Captain Vinod, Naveen. If you had called me a cool and calm person, I would have been shocked. So I certainly cannot lay claim to that. Good day to everybody. Morning, afternoon, and I think in Australia it's tending towards night perhaps. So, Madam President and office bearers of the Nautical Institute, leaders and all stakeholders of the shipping and maritime industry, and my friend and colleague, Mr. Arnitabh Kumar, Director General Shipping. At the outset, may I express my heartiest felicitations to Gillian Carson Jackson, the newly elected president of the Nautical Institute. Nice to see a lady heading the organization. It's indeed a moment of personal satisfaction and professional privilege to be recognized by the internationally renowned Nautical Institute. I've come to realize over the years that shipping is a very small community, but one that is very tightly knit and closely engaged. I feel so happy at how warmly this community has enfolded me into their fraternity. I congratulate Shri Amitabh Kumar, Director General Shipping, for the extremely proactive actions taken even as the pandemic was setting in and not during the pandemic. I remember he said that one of the best things that he had taken, and it turned out to be a real savior, was closing the maritime training institutions even before the national lockdown was declared. That's the kind of anticipation and proactiveness that is unique and extraordinary in Mr. Amitabh Kumar. A lot has been said about the crew change. I know how it went from engaging on a case-to-case basis, talking to state governments which did not quite understand the complex and urgent dynamics, to finding a method to pull all the strings of government together and getting effectively what has been done is 100,000 crew changes, but a lot of work that has gone behind it. You know, when Captain Vinod Naveen said that the Nautical Institute would like to confer some honors on you, I said, what have I done to deserve this? So I thought about it, and I thought I'll share a few thoughts that came to my mind that some of you might know, some of you might not know. I remember in the December of 2017, I was in Chennai paying actually a condolence visit to a school friend. The person who was entrusted to greet me, came up to me and said, "You might not know me, ma'am, but I know who you are." And while I was trying to place him in the context of the family of my friend, he revealed that he was a seafarer working in the Andaman Islands. He said that he had stopped going back to sea because it would take many, many months and sometimes a year even to renew the certificates, the CDC, etc. And he was pleasantly surprised. He said there was a provision to do it online, and he tried it out, and his document was renewed within 72 hours. Those are the moments of immense satisfaction, and this was a proof of the success of the e-governance initiatives that the team in the Directorate General of Shipping had been working hard at for several months. And I think, as we saw, it's laid the foundations for bigger achievements and addressing issues raising out of the pandemic. I think as soon as I joined as Director General Shipping, we were faced with this huge challenge of an oil spill outside the ports of Chennai and Ennore. And that was a high point in learning how to, the Merchant Shipping Act would have been just a reference book, but for this oil spill, because then I had to read it backwards and forwards to ensure that the negotiations are done both at the domestic side and on the international end to achieve what we hadn't achieved as a country before, that is to get a compensation well exceeding $30 million for the lost livelihoods and the loss of ecological damage in the area where the oil spill occurred. That was a first for us. It was a learning experience and a team that came together, supported, and very successfully fought for it. Besides the regular responsibilities that is a calling of the Directorate of Shipping, I was influenced by a superior from my very, very early days in service. And I'm sure Mr. Michael Pinto is going to ask me later in his own inimitable style, who was this person? He says, this superior had told me, there will be routine work in your office that you will deal with. You will say that you dealt with in time. But what is it that will help you make your mark and give you satisfaction and give you something to remember your career by in the later years? And I think over the years, that thought and that direction has influenced me. And as DG Shipping, there were two special projects that I thought were very, very rewarding. One is when we took up with immense cooperation from a team that is very dynamic in the Directorate General of Shipping. This was a training program for about 250 boys in the islands of Lakshadweep, which is the remotest islands from the mainstream of India. These are almost islands which touch the country of Maldives. They are natural seafarers, but their training was sparse. Their access to training was weak. They had the money, they had the skill, but not the training. And we took the training to them on the spot so that they could gain the certificates instead of bogus certificates. They could gain the certificates, receive the certificates from the Directorate General of Shipping itself, and that would qualify them for jobs on board ships. These are extremely fantastic seafarers, and they just need openings. The second was very tentatively started, but I think there were people in the Directorate General of Shipping who believed in this, and Captain Behel in particular. And from the Lakshadweep one, it was Mr. Ashish Vankede and Captain Jayakumar. All of them came together to build a maritime shipbuilding cluster in the city of, in and around Goa. In fact, my batchmates, my colleagues in service said, if you wake up these people in Goa, I think you will deserve an award. And I thought of it when I said, asked myself, why am I receiving these honors? So I am very, very glad to share the very fulfilling aspect is to start something and to have a successor, follow it up, support it, and push it forward. And that's what Amitabh did. And I think such recognition are very befitting of Amitabh for not only doing proactively what he had to do during the pandemic, but alongside picking up on initiatives that have been started and strengthening them and carrying them to the natural conclusion. And today, this maritime shipbuilding cluster in the small and medium enterprises framework is a reality, as the government of Goa has actually granted land to them and they've raised funds, and hopefully we will see this maritime cluster coming up in Goa in the very near future. Gillian, in her opening remarks of her assuming the presidency of the Institute, stated, and I quote, "In a fast-changing environment, it may be difficult to see beyond the tools to the people. To the people is the key issue. As we see the increase in technology in our industry, our challenge is to consider the changing skill sets and competencies required for maritime professionals in an increasingly digital and autonomous environment," unquote. I have always believed that the success of a nation is dependent on the quality of its human resources. To this end, education, training, and capacity building have been the quiet contributors. Much like the vessel that is sailing silently on the seas, these aspects take the individual, the society, and the nation to more sublime destinations. Today, I'm very glad and I have the privilege to have the opportunity to mold the mind of youth in maritime, influence the minds of those who impart knowledge to them, and to strengthen institutions that nurture them. I would like to take this opportunity to seek the assistance of the Nautical Institute in forging constructive partnerships with like-minded organizations in our quest for honing the skills and knowledge of seafarers and building a network of maritime professionals and organizations. Thank you once again for the honor, and please stay safe and stay healthy. And thank you for having bestowed this honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thanks for all the initiatives and immense contribution that you have done to the shipping industry, and for your new challenge of shaping the future of the Indian industry, especially with regard to training. We wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
We come to the end of the event, and I was happy when Shri Amitabh Kumar sir had put up the presentation, and the most number of sign-ons happened from Cochin Port, where I am currently located, and our Vice President from the Southwest Branch, Captain Joseph Alapat, the Fellow of Nautical Institute. He is the Deputy Conservator of the Cochin Port Trust. So I invite Captain Joseph Alapat to deliver the vote of thanks.
Right, thank you very much, Vinod. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you very much, Sir DG Shipping, Sir Amitabh Kumar, sir, for mentioning Cochin Port. I might just update everybody, since Vinod just mentioned it, that yesterday we actually crossed 10,000 seafarers who have changed in Cochin. So we've played a small part in this whole picture, and we're very happy to be able to say that. So today, the Nautical Institute is very happy to be able to honor two, a hero and a heroine of this shipping industry in India today. We're very proud to be having Dr. Malini Shankar with us, who also was a DG Shipping before, and now a Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University. And Shri, the hero, of course, is Shri Amitabh Kumar, Director General of Shipping, who has very clearly established how difficult a task he had to do through this pandemic. Apart from being DG Shipping, he had to be DG Ports and even DG Civil Aviation for a while. But all hats off to all of them, because in a time of crisis, we always look forward to leaders. And in shipping, that has to be the DG Shipping. And the DG Shipping has really stood up and held and led us all through this pandemic so far. And it is just befitting that the Nautical Institute recognizes and honors them. Now I would also like to thank we're actually recognizing the whole DG Shipping team. And when I look through the list of the program, we realize that everybody in that has some association to DG Shipping. We have 3 Director General of Shippings today, including Shri Michael Pinto, who also was Director General of Shipping, and later Secretary Shipping too. And we're also having a lot of the nautical advisors to the Government of India, starting with the present incumbent, Captain Jayaku, and Captain Saggi, who was there before, and also Captain Ashok Mahapatra, who was in DG Shipping for a long time before he went on to IMO, but not before he passed me in my master's oral. So I thank him specially for that. And also Dr. Simon, who also spent a lot of time in DG Shipping and is leading the Maritime Mariner Society here in Cochin. So thank you all, Team DG Shipping, all of you, for sparing your valuable time and your views with us and accepting this honor. We congratulate you and we look forward to your leadership. And I would also like to mention Captain Daniel Joseph at DG Shipping, who has been our go-to man any time of the day or night to when we had a problem with crew change. And he would always solve it for us. So I would like to take a moment to thank him also. Then from the Nautical Institute, I would like to very much thank our tech savvy president, Ms. Gillian, and our vice president, Mr. Walter, and all the other office bearers of Nautical Institute and the other branches of Nautical Institute in India, and our own branch, our president, Captain Tom Joseph, our past presidents, Captain John and Captain Thomas, and of course, our very hardworking secretary, Vinod, for all your hard work in getting these programs together. I would also like to mention that in these funny times that we live in right now, we are actually being able to reach out to a far greater audience than we would normally. If we held this function in non-pandemic times, we would be limited by the number of people we could fit into a hall. But now we are able to reach across the world so many people, and that is one probably of the good things that has happened out of these pandemic times. And we are helped obviously with all our social media platforms, like this is going out on Facebook Live on the Nautical Institute page, and also our media partners who have been kind enough to share this event through their various platforms on YouTube. This includes Sailor Today, Narca Publications, Sea and Job, and Marix, and everybody else who's helping getting this program out to everybody around the world. And of course, most importantly, I have to thank each and everyone who has participated in this event today, because in the end of the day, it is you who are honoring the heroes and heroines by being present here today. Your presence is the real honor, and we're very grateful for that. And we thank you so much. So wherever you're in the world, have a pleasant weekend and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Gillian, can we have the national anthem? And may I request all of you to rise for the national anthem once it is being played? I should say that technology, as Captain Joseph Alapart just mentioned, it was a national anthem of India played from Canberra, Australia. So thank you, Ms. Gillian, for playing our national anthem. For the next 1 minute, we are breaking all the protocols of the event. We request all of you to come on camera. We would like to capture some pictures, and you can unmute, and please, you may exchange your compliments to the recipients of the award.
Yes, congratulations once again, Malini and Amitabh. Wonderful, absolutely, and everyone spoke so well and made us so proud as part of the Indian maritime fraternity.
Congratulations, Saggi and Madam Malini Shankar. We're really proud of what you've done and the leadership you've shown. And pose a question there. We would like you to transfer these skills to our master mariners and it's a wonderful job, Vinod. You have done an amazing job.
Ajay is being so partial. He wants her to only impart it to master mariners, not to the marine engineers. Ajay, true master mariner.
Finally, the master mariner was going behind bars, so.
So you have to start somewhere. So, master mariner.
We need some people to make sure they take some screen captures because my screen capture is not working. So someone take some screen captures and send them to me, please.
Yeah, we'll do that. I can still see.
Congratulations to Director General of Shipping, Shri Amitabh Kumar, and Captain Daniel, Captain Jayakumar, and the entire team at DGS. You all have worked relentlessly, burned the midnight oil, and thank you so much for helping us and the entire industry. And Dr. Shankar, congratulations to you, and we look forward to your new innings. Thank you.
Same here, sir. Our heartiest congratulations to Shri Amitabh Kumar and entire DGS team. Same way, Madam Malini Shankar, congratulations. And thank you, Ms. Jillian, Nautical Associations, Southwest Branch, Captain Vinod, Captain Tom Joseph, for really recognizing the stalwarts. Thank you.
Amitabh, congratulations. 1 lakh down, next 1 lakh to do now in the next couple of months. I think it should be a piece of cake now from here. But thank you very much to you and to Daniel for the work they've done to make this happen for us. Thank you, sir.
Getting all the recognition, but the people who are bringing back these, 100,000 are you and Captain Halve. I'm sure he can open a travel agency now. Captain
Sir, he's applied for a license there as well now.
Rajesh, your mustache seems to have grown little more during the pandemic.
Yes, sir. I ran out of my, my trimmer for my mustache, so I just thought, let me try and emulate my brother, who was an army officer. So I thought I'll emulate him now. But thank you for noticing.
Congratulations to the Nautical Institute for having taken such a great initiative of recognizing the frontline warriors in this great pandemic. And it has been great effort, and I have been saying it for the last 3-4 weeks. Congratulations to the Directorate General of Shipping and all the officers there. It has been, they have been working, I can say, at least past midnight every day from right in the morning. It has been a tremendous task doing these crew changes, surveys, and lot many things. Without their active participation all these times, all this would not have happened. Congratulations to Dr. Malini Shankar for having taken over as the Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University. Now we hope to see better synergy between the Directorate and the Indian Maritime University, which will help the growth of Indian maritime education. And I must definitely congratulate the Southwest branch of the Nautical Institute. They have been doing a wonderful job, and especially Captain Vinod Naveen has been day in and out coordinating between people. I know from the back room what is happening, and it is really a great job. Congratulations to everybody and well done. Thank you.
Philip, congratulations to Seven Islands.
Seven Islands is okay. We have been helped a lot. We have done a turnover of our crew. We are very happy about today morning. We are a small company, but having said that, we have turned around all the crew on our ships. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, I'm going to stop the live stream on Facebook now. So just give me a second. I'll stop off. There we go.
Yeah, and just before we wind up, I would like to put up that our forthcoming events, the next event we have next weekend on 29th We have Captain Prashant Raknekar for MASA and Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani for FOSMA. We are recognizing them over the next weekend and followed up with Mr. Manish Pradhan for Anglo-Eastern India. That's coming up on 5th of September. So please take it as an invitation to both the events of the Nautical Institute. Thank you. And thanks to you, Jillian. We have really held you up from your dinner today. I think it's well past time at Australia now.
It is now 10:05 in the evening, 22:05. So I am going to go and eat my dinner.
Thank you, Jillian.
Thank you. Wonderful. It's we had very good representation from the executive and from the vice presidents and past president of the Nautical Institute. It's been wonderful to have you all with us on this really, really important event. So much good information and 100,000 crew change. That's quite a milestone to make. So very well done. And I will wish you all good night now. And since I have actually the link for Zoom, when I close this out, everybody will leave. So I will stop recording, and that means you all have to go home. So thank you so much. And it's been a real pleasure to attend this event. And I look forward to keeping in touch with you. So I'm going to stop recording.
Thank you.
And I will close out. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.